It is the 26th of August 1961. Over 14 years have passed since the last of the occupiers have been thrown out of the continent of Africa. The world is in a state of frozen peace, or frozen war, however you want to see it. Technically, the four large factions are still at war with each other. The remainder of the Allies, which is basically the United States and England, the United States have retreated to their continent and refuse to do anything outside of that area, together with the British-controlled Canada and the British Isles themselves. Italy has taken over Ireland, as well as Northern Ireland, but has not managed to invade the UK. They have mined the channel and everything around them, and effectively created a large wall around themselves. The Germans control the vast areas of Russia and East Asia, except for whatever Japan controls. Japan has taken everything up, and including India, as well as Australia in the south, although and including New Zealand, which is now the Kiwi Empire. The Americans, as I mentioned, have literally stayed where they are. And Spain and France, as well as Italy, have never forgotten their humiliation in Africa and have thrown themselves at us incessantly over the years. Africa is a beacon of freedom for the countries inside. We have worked hard with local governments to release whatever possible. And as you can see, a lot of countries are now members of the African Union. We have a very long list in this faction, and we're still in the process of bringing peace to the remaining resisting areas, like the South Africans, who are still suffering from the indoctrination from the long indoctrination from the British, and have not yet found their sense of freedom. But we have liberated the Palestinians. We have liberated the Jordan. We have liberated Egypt, the Kingdom of Sudan, Egypt, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia. We have Malawi. Congo is. We're still working on Congo. Nigeria, Niger, Mali, Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, and a bunch of other countries around Mauritania. The north, not quite yet, but the democratic, what is it? The Arab Democratic, hang on, I'll have to check. Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic was the latest country that has been released. The African Union has been turned into a fortress. The Mediterranean coast is under incessant bombardment and assault from the fascist countries of Europe, especially the Spanish, the Italian, and the French, have been throwing millions of men onto our beaches and lost them there. As you can see, we have heavily fortified the coast. We have laid mines. We have high-level fortifications around most of the Mediterranean coast. And we have stationed a vast array of troops around the whole of Africa. Every single meter of African coast is secure. The French have recently started assaulting Central Africa, and as such, we've had to fortify there as well. We have taken most of the islands off the Axis, which they were using as launch pads for further invasions, such as Madagascar and Cape Verde Islands, as well as the Canarias Islands. So that has put a bit of a dampener onto them. The Ethiopian Air Force is mainly comprised of fighter wings. We've got some jet fighter wings. I believe they are currently operating here. Yes, we've got jet fighter wings operating here as well in sub-Saharan Africa. And they are trying to keep a lid on the incessant bombing, including nuclear weapons deployed by the French into northern Africa. They try to keep a lid on it and deal with the enemy assaults over time. We have sunk mostly in the Mediterranean and off the coast of northwestern Africa. We have sunk over the years 1,404 enemy ships. We have lost a couple. This is not quite correct, and I think this number is also a little bit out of date, because I'm definitely sure that we've sunk a battleship at some point. But we have sunk an incredible amount of convoys, destroyers, submarines, and we've also had some cruisers at some point that we've sent to the bottom. So the Mediterranean is the battlefield of this day. The Ethiopian divisions are by now deploying modern tank divisions with the T-50 modern tank and half-truck mechanized infantry. We've also got a bunch of battalions of marine infantry. Not these ones; these are foreign designs. I'm not sure where mine went. There. So we've got some naval infantry that we've used to liberate these islands, but right now they are just stationed peacefully along the coastlines. As you can see, we've got a vast number of troops. We have in total 2.5 million men under arms, and they are getting tired of the endless war. We've got some railway guns attached to the major armies, and the naval bombers have been together with the naval bombers have been clearing out a lot of the enemy shipping around our coastlines. The Ethiopian Navy operates 5 groups of submarines, not in the Mediterranean because of enemy air attacks, but around securing the rest of the coast of Africa. The Fleet of Africa consists of the Haile Selassie, our first super heavy battleship. She is decked out with 4 triple turrets of very large caliber main guns and all the armor and AA that can fit. There are some destroyers that are under construction and that are going to comprise of the Mengesha class, that are going to comprise her escorts, equipped with torpedo, radar, sonar, and depth charges. This is the beginning of the African Union fleet of actual surface ships. In terms of general weapons, like I said, we've got jet fighters, we've got naval bombers, we've got regular fighters, we have the S3 class of submarines, we've got the T-50 class of modern tanks. Do you want to have a look at those? There is the T-50 class, and they haven't really seen an awful lot of action, but they're there just in case any kind of enemy breakthrough gets through and can assault and is getting through the coastline. But this hasn't happened in many years, so we're still busy constructing infrastructure, but we have created peaceful cities and green fields within Africa, with advanced infrastructure, with a large number of civilian factories that are spread between ourselves and the countries that have been liberated, to make sure that our citizens, as much as possible, are safe, while our valiant armed forces are manning the coastlines and asserting that none of the enemy landings ever get through onto the African continent anymore, and never again will Africa be colonized. And that, my friends, is the end of that series. I did want to do a little bit of an epilogue because this actually took a while. I would say probably somewhere between 8 and 10 hours of especially due to the mechanic of liberating countries, because I have to get the occupied territories low enough that compliant enough that they can go into collaboration governments, and then I got to get the collaboration governments low enough that I can reduce them into these are all puppets, but I got to get these low enough that I can annex them, And then I have to save up 300 political power to annex them, and then I can actually liberate them. So due to that game mechanic, took a while. But that's it. That's the end of this series. Africa is free, mostly. And as you can see, very, very well defended. Especially the Mediterranean and the line up to Nigeria here. So effectively anything from the north here along the coastline up to Nigeria has been under pretty much constant assault. If we're looking at the casualty numbers, let's start with our own war. So the Ethiopian-German war, they have lost 52 million troops all in all. The Germans have lost 3.9 million to Ethiopia. The Italians have lost 2.2 million to Ethiopia. Some minor losses. The Spanish have lost 3.6 million. The French have lost over 4 million. The British have lost 1 million against us. The Canadians a little. The New Zealanders a little. And the rest has pretty much capitulated. The Mexicans as well have lost a few, but mostly against Japan. So these were the bigger wars in the east. Whereas Ethiopia has taken a total set of casualties of about 1 million, mostly against the British and the Spanish, and to some degree against the rest of them. The other large war is the German-American War, in which the Axis have lost about 40 million and the Allies have lost about 47 million. I don't even know where the largest... Yeah, the Americans have lost 22 million to Japan. Mostly, I think they've been fighting over India. And they have brought pretty much all their troops into India, and the Japanese have defeated them. And that was that. So everyone's relatively exhausted. But there's no world conquest in this one because Africa is liberated, and that was the goal. And that's it for me. The next episode, the next series is going to be coming in a little bit of a while because I have to update now to the latest DLC, and there have been a lot of changes. It's been over a year that I haven't touched any updates because I was doing this series, the previous Japan series, and now this one, and. So I'll have to practice a bit, but the next round will be the Soviet Union, as has been requested via democratic poll. So we will be playing as Stalin. Oh, no, that's going to be fun. And it'll be somewhat of a historical run because I'll not go for something like world domination. It's more like a playing out the war as much as possible as it happened. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm sure things will go off the rail a little bit at some point. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.